God's blessings to everyone. This is a DGHradio.com news and information news update for the Caribbean, and I'm reporter SGD reporting the news for Saturday, September 27th, 2025, covering the latest developments from across the Caribbean. We begin with the tropics. Hurricane Humberto intensified to a Category 4 system over the Atlantic, bringing deadly flooding to the Dominican Republic late Friday. A bridge collapse in Yamasá claimed one life. Red alerts went up across several provinces, and landslides isolated communities as shelters opened. Even with the center of the storm well offshore, dangerous swells are reaching Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, Bermuda, and the northern leewards, and are expected along the east coast of the United States by Monday. A second system rapidly organizing as Tropical Storm Imelda could strengthen as it approaches the southeast United States early next week. Emergency managers caution that while an interaction known as the Fujiwara effect is unlikely, planners are watching for any unpredictable track changes. Cuba and the Bahamas should prepare for heavy rainfall near 8 inches with flood and mudslide risk. Across the region, readiness is being tested, from sandbag lines in Charleston to high water vehicles moving into position. Why this matters? It underscores escalating climate risks to Caribbean societies and the urgency of disaster preparedness, from stronger building codes to faster shelter mobilization and cross-border logistics. Questions to consider: how can Caribbean preparedness be further strengthened for major hurricanes? What long-term strategies will reduce infrastructure vulnerability to floods and storms? Could international support for disaster response be improved, and how? Turning to security and diplomacy. In New York, Guyana's President Mohamed Irfan Ali met with the United Nations Secretary General on the Essequibo border controversy, stressing that small states rely on international law and the orders of the International Court of Justice to prevent escalation. Also at the United Nations, Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley urged that the Caribbean remain a zone of peace, warning that rising deployments and exercises could ignite confrontation that fragile economies cannot bear. In contrast, Trinidad and Tobago's government reaffirmed support for hardline anti-cartel operations in regional waters, saying overwhelming force is needed to deter transnational gangs, an approach that has split opinion among Caribbean partners worried about bycatch risks for civilians and fishers. Tensions extended into hemispheric politics after a controversial public speech by Colombia's president prompted the United States to cancel his entry privileges, raising questions about speech, sovereignty, and diplomatic norms. Why this matters: the choices leaders make now will shape whether disputes are solved by law and diplomacy or risk spiraling into incidents at sea, with consequences for trade, tourism, and everyday safety. Questions to consider: what mechanisms truly protect small states under international law? Where is the line between effective interdiction and escalation that endangers bystanders and commerce? Should the region negotiate a framework governing foreign military operations in Caribbean waters? In Haiti, a member of the Transitional Presidential Council told the United Nations that the country is effectively at war with gangs, with thousands killed this year and more than 1 million people displaced. The Haitian National Police reported a rare but important success, arresting multiple alleged leaders and seizing weapons in a targeted operation against a Port-au-Prince stronghold. Authorities caution that sustained support is essential for security and humanitarian relief. Why this matters: stabilizing Haiti is central to regional human rights, migration, and economic resilience. Questions to consider: what strategies can the international community pursue that strengthen Haitian capacity while respecting sovereignty? Beyond enforcement, what social and economic pathways reduce gang recruitment? Education and youth are in focus. Dominica's Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit called for sweeping reforms of the Caribbean Examinations Council and a shift from exam-centric schooling toward holistic, future-ready learning. In Barbados, linguists and teachers urged schools to use Barbadian English as a bridge to standard English, aiming to lift literacy and inclusion. In Jamaica, the Teachers Union pressed for targeted anti-bullying plans tailored to school risks, and a team of young innovators unveiled an app to link farmers and buyers, modernizing agriculture and youth opportunity. Why this matters: classroom language, safety, and hands-on innovation shape who succeeds, and whether the next generation stays, studies, and builds at home. The Economy and Technology Roundup. Jamaica's tourism sector reported a record summer, lifting jobs and small business income. Barbados launched a national program to finance and mentor entrepreneurs, while Trinidad and Tobago rolled out a multi-year plan to digitize government services with secure digital identity, training, and stronger cybersecurity. Regional scholars urge serious investment in artificial intelligence so small states create, not just consume, technology. China said it will no longer seek developing country preferences in future trade deals, a move Caribbean officials hope could unlock fairer rules on subsidies and dispute resolution. Cuba expanded public Wi-Fi zones to improve access, though affordability and open access remain challenges. In Jamaica's financial sector, a major building society delayed branch openings amid a technology outage that interrupted online and card services. Another reminder that digital reliability is now core infrastructure. In Trinidad and Tobago, the Court of Appeal ruled that a telecommunications tower had been erected on private land without proper title, ordering damages and putting carriers on notice about stricter land rights due diligence. Why this matters: diversifying economies, upgrading digital systems, and clarifying rules from trade to telecoms can widen opportunity if access, resilience, and rights are protected. Energy and environment. Guyana's offshore production again beat forecasts, accelerating revenue into its sovereign fund while raising the stakes for anti-corruption, diversification, and environmental safeguards. St. Lucia's coasts are battling a heavy sargassum influx that hurts tourism, fisheries, and air quality. Innovators are exploring reuse for fertilizer, biofuel, and materials. To strengthen disaster readiness, Caribbean response teams launched a regional shelter working group to upgrade standards on power, water, accessibility, and safety with pre-positioned supplies and shared training. The Barbados Defense Force signed a training pact with a medical school to expand trauma care and disaster medicine capacity before the next mass casualty event. And on World Tourism Day, regional leaders pushed a shift from volume to value: climate-smart hotels, stronger local supply chains, and measurable sustainability goals. Why this matters: from oil wealth to seaweed shocks, from shelters to hospitals, the region's resilience will be measured by how well it plans before the next storm and how fairly it shares gains from growth. Public safety notes from Jamaica. Police seized an illegal handgun in a Portmore raid that led to 3 arrests, and after a contested police killing earlier this month, authorities pledged to expand body-worn cameras and strengthen transparency in use of force investigations. Justice and governance. Jamaica's legal debate sharpened over replacing overseas appeals with a locally controlled final court to improve access and affirm sovereignty while ensuring transparency to guard against bias. Culture to close. In Barbados, a beloved music series returned with a nostalgia-rich show spanning gospel to soca, using performance to bridge generations and keep culture alive, even in uncertain times. Before we go, a few big questions across tonight's coverage. How should the Caribbean balance hard security with diplomacy to keep these islands a zone of peace? What single upgrade, roofs, reliable power, or clean water, would most improve hurricane shelters this year, and how do we fund it? Which policies ensure oil, tourism, and digital gains benefit communities beyond capital corridors? Can embracing Caribbean languages in early grades speed literacy without sacrificing global competitiveness? What regional model would sustainably finance sargassum cleanup and reuse? These and other issues are of great concern within the islands. What do you think are some good solutions? Let us know your thoughts by texting your comments to 1-315-898-1949. You can also join our WhatsApp group and get the news, weather, and other insightful information delivered right to your smartphone. To join, text JOIN to 1-315-898-1449. Please include your name in the text message. You will receive a call to verify your request. I'm your reporter, SGD, signing off for DGHradio.com. Remember, SGD and DGH, together we source, gather, and deliver daily global headlines, because on DGHradio.com, the news never sleeps. Ciao.